This video isn't about Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, or Donald Trump. It is about the ongoing erosion of African sovereignty. You see, the US politics is quietly chipping away at this sovereignty. To see it clearly, we'll zoom in on these three American names because what happened to them in recent months speaks volumes about who gets silenced, who pulls the strings, and what power extends far beyond the US borders. First, Jimmy Kimmel.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them and doing everything they can to score political points from it.
Off the air, ABC has indefinitely suspended its show. Stephen Colbert also cancelled his exit set for 2026, but the writing is on the wall. When major networks bench their most vocal political comedians after pressure from Washington, it sends a global message. Dissent is dangerous. Criticism has a cost, and power gets to set the rules of conversation. Kimmel's show was pulled in mid-September after a monologue triggered a political backlash. Free speech groups called it censorship. 2 months before that, CBS announced Colbert's 2026 departure, officially for financial reasons. But let's be real, we know that it wasn't about money. It was about control. My name is DJ Bwakali, and Africa is my superpower. Welcome to African Awakening, the Pan-African show that is awakening, uniting, and transforming Africa. Today, we're skipping the US left versus right circus. We're asking, how is a Trump-style strongman approach shaping US policy towards Africa right now? We'll break it down in three arenas where Washington's moves are bending African realities. The Rwanda-DRC peace deal, third country deportations to African states, and how African leaders are treated in the White House. June 27, 2025, Washington, D.C., the U.S. brokers a peace agreement between Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of Congo.
So we're here today to celebrate a glorious triumph, and that's what it is, for the cause of peace. And this is a long time waiting, the signing of a historic peace agreement between the Democratic Republic of the Congo and the Republic of Rwanda. The conflict has continued, and it's been going on for many, many years. It's been going from, I guess they say 30 years, the Great Lakes region of Africa for a long time, and maybe even a time before that. How is the Great Lakes region? Must be beautiful, right? Beautiful, beautiful region, but they had a lot of war, right? A lot of fighting, a lot of death. It's displaced countless people and claimed the lives of thousands and thousands. But today, the violence and destruction comes to an end, and the entire region begins a new chapter of hope and opportunity, harmony, prosperity, and peace.
Headlines call it historic, a breakthrough, a turning point. But there's a problem. The deal excluded M23, one of the main fighting forces on the ground. By July, analysts warned that the agreement was fragile. By September, nothing had changed in the East. Fighting continued. Civilians kept fleeing. What's the lesson here? Washington didn't just mediate this deal. It choreographed it. The cameras, the speeches, the Trump-era chest thumping. This was less about peace and more about performance.
And let me tell you firsthand what I've witnessed myself. I spoke with the people on the street. I spoke with youth. They know your name. They know that our president named President Trump is working hard to finally bring peace to the country.
When peace becomes a prop, implementation becomes optional. And when implementation becomes optional, African lives become expendable. This is how authoritarian foreign policy works. Optics over outcomes, applause over substance. So what should African leaders do? Insist on inclusive negotiations. No deals without the fighters who hold the guns. Demand enforcement mechanisms. Penalties for violations. Humanitarian corridors monitored by neutral, powerful observers. Tie minerals to milestones. No new concessions until armed groups pull back and disarm. If Washington wants real peace, they'll agree. If they want a photo op, they won't. The US is quietly flying migrants, people with no ties to Africa, mostly, onto African soil. Ghana received 14, Eswatini took 5, Rwanda 7, South Sudan several. Uganda says it's ready. Reports show that migrants endure abuse en route and unlawful detention after landing. Governments call it regional solidarity, but legal experts call it, for what it is, violation of asylum rights. This isn't trauma, it's fact. So ask yourself, how does authoritarian thinking play out here? Dumps legal and moral responsibility onto weaker partners here in Africa. It turns African territory into a dumping ground for America's political pressure. And it sets a precedent that African states can be paid to absorb people who aren't even African. That's how sovereignty begins to die, incrementally, quietly. Africa's answer should be firm. Reject all third country deportations. Period. Make it policy across Africa. Name and shame violators. Sanction those who sell out. A united African front means leverage. One-off deals mean we inherit someone else's problems. Just a quick one before I go on. Last year, I wrote a book about historic African leaders like Thomas Sankara, Patrice Lumumba, Julius Nyerere, and of course, Ibrahim Traore. There are nearly 100 of them in that book. Many of you have already bought the book, and I'm very grateful for that. If you haven't bought it, please head on to Amazon and purchase your copy. Both physical and digital copies are available. Thanks a lot. July 25, the White House. Trump hosts 5 West African presidents, pitching a shift from aid to trade. On paper, sounds great. Africans have pushed for this for decades. But then came the show. Trump praised Liberia's president for speaking good English, apparently forgetting that English is Liberia's national language.
We want to work with the United States in peace and security within the region because we are committed to that. And we just want to thank you so much for this opportunity.
Well, thank you. And such good English, such beautiful. Where did you learn to speak so beautifully? Where were you educated? Where?
Yes, sir.
In Liberia.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's very interesting. It's beautiful English.
Sure.
A U.S. reporter asked if Trump deserved a Nobel Prize. Some African leaders nodded along. It felt less like diplomacy and more like a principal lecturing school children. This isn't just about tone, it's about mindset. If you treat African presidents like pupils, you write policies that demand obedience, not negotiation or partnerships. That's how we get empty agreements, shiny deals that fall apart, because they were never meant to hold up. So how should African leaders play it? use the spotlight, extract real terms. For every US investment, demand public hiring targets. Tech transfers and published contracts. Transparency. Make transparency non-negotiable. All MOUs public in 30 days. All beneficial owners named. All disputes resolved in African or neutral courts. If the US resists sunlight transparency, ask why. If it's real partnership, transparency helps both sides. It's not the goals, peace, trade, development, that are the issue here. It's how they are pursued. Loyalty over law, showmanship over structure, quick wins over real results. And the prize is paid in Goma, Kigali, Accra, and across the continent. Let's get practical. Peace deals must deliver or be revoked. If a US-led deal doesn't protect civilians or reduce displacement in 90 days, suspend it. No third country deportations, ever. Sovereignty isn't for sale, especially not for harsh money. Trade must be with dignity. Tie every deal to local jobs, climate standards, and full public oversight. Face forward, together. Kwame Nkrumah said it best. We face neither east nor west. We face forward. That's not poetry, it's leverage, guys. Attend the meetings, but post your demands first. Bring civil society. Require parliamentary review and independent audits. Authoritarian foreign policy is theater. It favors applause over outcomes, flattery over fairness. Africa has seen this show before. Colonial governors love the drama too. We don't need more performances. We need results. So next time Washington sets the stage, whether it's a peace deal, a deportation flight, or a trade not aid dinner, show up with your own script, the African script. Deals with transparency, unity with backbone. That's how Africa takes the lead. That's how we win. Thank you very much for joining me on this episode of African Awakening, the Pan-African show that is awakening, uniting, and transforming Africa. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? If you're not yet a member of this channel, what are you waiting for? Welcome home.